Toro has a new 60-volt mower out that is 21 inches wide. They claim it's 25% lighter than most other battery-operated mowers on the market. It will mulch, it will bag, and once you register it, you can get an optional side discharge. You can adjust this up to mow from 1 to 4 inches. I'm mowing with it on the higher end because we actually have quite a dry spring here, and I'm trying to keep the grass a little taller to keep it growing and keep the moisture in the ground so the sun doesn't take it out. This guy will run for up to 60 minutes. I've had it with a 7.5 amp hour battery in it, and I've had run times that are closer to 50 minutes, but in most cases I'm going through a lot of grass, and when I'm bagging, sometimes I'm using that max button. This guy has 2 blades on the bottom, so it does an excellent job of mulching, and it really does like to go through a lot of grass. It will automatically move the RPMs of the blade up and down based on the torque that it feels. So if you're going through some thick grass, it will raise that torque up. For bagging, if you want a perfect job or if you want to fill the bag more, I'd highly recommend that you use the max button. A lot of the time, or maybe at least once you start to get through in a half a bag, you hit that max button, it'll continue to fill that up. Otherwise, it might get to a point where you have half a bag in and it starts to just not be able to push everything into the bag. With that said, it's very easy to see because this bag stops kind of pushing itself up and the airflow isn't going through. It's very noticeable. So all you have to do is hit that max button. It will help fill that bag up a little bit more if you want to make less trips in emptying that bag out. This is a plastic deck. Everything on this guy is pretty much plastic. That's how they're getting it lighter. It does still fold up and it does adjust. For you taller users, it adjusts up nicely. So we can put this in this position for storage, tilt it back up. The bag comes on and off pretty easy. I guess we can just drop this guy into a winter storage mode here. One thing that's super nice about electric lawnmowers, you don't have to worry about oil or gas coming out. Let's come in, take a look at this bottom side, because I think this is where a lot of the good stuff is. The bottom of this kit shows you a lot of what this mower is about. Here's your striping kit. That's what pushes the grass down. We have our self-propelled motor. That's right here. That is fully adjustable via a dial. And then you can see how everything kind of goes up here. This actually pushes quite nice. If you didn't want to use the self-propelled mower portion, you can push it around and hardly even know that it has any resistance at all. They call this a 21-inch mower, but like all 21-inch mowers, it's actually not going to cut 21 inches. It's going to cut exactly 20 inches. Not uncommon. Now for trimming and getting up against things, since this is a plastic deck, they do have it reinforced on the edge, so you're not going to get directly up against a tree if you'd like to. And if you come in from the front, you're going to have approximately 7.5 inches worth of anything that is not cut in the front. I like how they have this bumper around the side of this deck because obviously I can move this. So if you bump it into a tree, the last thing you want are these blades hitting the side of the deck. Possible if you hit this really hard, but that just gives all of this plastic deck a little bit more reinforcement. The blades here are dual blades. They're thinner blades like you'll find on most electric mowers, but you have 2 cutting edges. That's going to help this mulch. And it's going to also help a little bit with lift. This first blade here is basically just a straight blade for cutting the taller grass. The bottom is going to give the lift portion that's going to push, and it's also going to cut in 2 different places. So if you have taller grass and you're trying to go through it, this dude will do quite well. We have a little bit of cooling in the center to help pull air through the top into the motor and push it out the bottom. That helps to keep that area clean and helps to also allow more air to come in and get out that bagger. While it's in this position, I think it's interesting to note that we have 2 places that we can adjust these wheels with. And you can see that the higher we go, kind of the less we have of this stripe. So when we come up into a low position and we're cutting really low, this striping is going to work a little bit better because it's obviously going to push harder. And in some cases it really doesn't matter, but there is a sweet spot in here where the striper works excellent. But as you get up into the 4-inch cutting where I was, the striper isn't pushing down as much. Although it's very noticeable, that adjusts and moves with the wheels. So I think that's important to note. You also have to move the front and the rear together into the same position, but they are separately adjustable. Battery placement on this mower, very easy to get at, very easy to get out. Push that button, slides in, slides out. I like that. There's a magnet that holds this closed. More or less has gravity and a magnet. Opens up easy. Does not stay open, and that's obviously going to be for any type of moisture or anything. So if it sits outside, that's going to always default to closed. Bagging is super easy. Pick this guy up, slide her in, let it close. When the bag's full, pick it up, bring it out. Nothing to it. If you want to mulch, you have this little piece that slides in and locks into place right there. That's it. You want to pull it out, pick up, and it has a little bit of a tab that locks in. So pull up, back out. Very easy to make work no matter how you want to set this guy up. Obviously, if that guy is in and you want a bag, it ain't happening. Controls on this, very simple. Bring down the upper bail, push the power button. Turns on the lights, turns on the mower. It's going to be in auto mode. If you want max, just push the max button. If you'd like to turn off max, push the max button again. As far as the self-propulsion, pick up this bottom, and then you can adjust your speed from very, very slow up to 3.1 miles per hour just by adjusting that lever. When you're done, you can let off and everything's good. Like I said, you can push this guy very easily without any resistance. So even when not in self-propulsion mode, it works great. Tires on this are large. You got a plastic hub in the center with some rubber on the outside. You can see there is some resistance when I'm just moving it this way. Not a whole bunch, but you can tell there are no bearings in here. That is a little disappointing. I don't know that it's needed, but definitely not the smoothest. When you have self-propulsion, you probably don't need bearings in this, but long-term, bearings would be nice. Being a taller guy, it was interesting for me to actually use this on the lower portion. If I move it up to its secondary position, it's nice and high. In some cases, some people may want it there. To me, moving around trees and everything, it felt a little too high. Maybe because I'm used to using much lower machines, I don't know, but it is adjustable. So if you do like things a little bit higher, you can easily do so. If you had a long straight line to go around with, just straight, no trees, no nothing in the way, I could see having this higher and having the self-propulsion going might be a lot more comfortable. To me, my yard is full of hills and trees, so I had to have it in a lower position, and that just seemed to work a little bit better for me. But it's adjustable, so you can have it in either of the two positions. Follow me on this small tangent. If you're using a string trimmer and it's a gas string trimmer, you have usually 10,000 RPMs. If you're going to a battery operated string trimmer, you're getting 6,000 RPMs. Similar things happen when you go to a battery operated lawnmower. They try to reduce that blade speed enough so that if you're cutting really light grass, it's going to give you more of an eco mode and it's going to have the battery last longer. If you're in heavy grass, it's going to speed that motor up a little bit, probably not to the same speed where gas is, but close. And it's going to allow you to chew through that and give you a good cut, but it's going to take away more battery runtime. It's going to take power away from that battery. So in this case, the thing I like with the dual blade is we still have enough suction to pull the grass up because we're running over it with the front wheels, although they're a little bit on the outside, but it pulls the grass up, gets a good cut with the dual blades, and still can do everything it needs to at that lower speed. And it can do it while you're still cutting at the 3 5/8 or 4-inch mark, where a lot of them will lose a lot of that suction and you won't get a very nice cut. This mower has a great cut at the higher levels. I have not cut down to the 1-inch or even 2-inch level. That is not something we do in Michigan, not our kind of grass. So this mower works excellent for probably all of that. And I think that's a huge thing to give compliments to, because not all the mowers coming out now have that ability to create that suction to pull the grass up. Runtime on this with a 7.5 amp hour battery, 50 minutes is what I'm gonna tell you you'll see. Maybe you'll see a little bit more, maybe you'll see a little bit less. From where I'm cutting in my situation, doing a combination of mulching and bagging, that's where I was at. Personally, I like this machine to mulch better than I do bag. And that's because I don't like to carry the small bag out to the back all the time, and it fills up fairly quickly and doesn't fill up all the way unless I really run it in max mode, and then I'm chewing up more battery. So for me, this thing does an excellent job mulching. I mean, excellent. The dual blade system is great. It moves things around. The pieces that you might see in my grass are from my large lawnmower that does not mulch as good as this one. So I think there's a lot to be said there when you can have a small battery operated machine mulch better than one of your larger machines that is not battery operated. Good machine. Lightweight, all plastic. How do you feel about that? That's going to be up to you. Someone made a comment to me in one of our other videos when we were saying, hey, the deck is metal, so that's good. We like that. Someone says, hey, all the bumpers on cars these days are plastic, not metal. No one's making any fuss about that. He's right. So in many cases, this won't rust. In many cases, you can take, and clean it off with a hose. You can take a power washer to the outside. I wouldn't try to power wash the motor vents, but at the same point, it works. Everything in here is great, and it's going to allow for a long time of lasting. You're not going to have a rusted deck. Does the electronics, does everything else last through that? That's always something to be seen. We talk about purchasing a gas lawnmower, and you purchase that gas lawnmower, and as long as you take care of it, it's a 15-year mower. This most likely is going to need batteries after 5-6 years, or a battery. And that's going to be the price you pay for no maintenance. Check it out. I would highly recommend getting the 7.5 amp hour battery with this. Now, I've rambled on at this point to kind of give you my personal opinions on that. I'm interested in what you think about this mower in the comments. Check out the price online if you're looking at it. Check out the price compared to some others. The price of battery operated equipment is interesting because you have people at the bottom trying to grab market share with poor performing, very poorly built lawnmowers, and then you have them all the way to the top to more of a better performing lawnmower. And then this one, to me, fits a lot of the mold of both, because a lot of the low-end machines have a plastic deck. This has a plastic deck, but it's a different plastic deck than what you'll find on the really low $200-300 models that are really flimsy. This guy is stiff. It's designed right. It's not going to flop around on you. So it is lighter weight, but it is more money. There's a lot of quality that's in between that you can't see, because the looks of it look like maybe a lower end machine. Definitely not. Higher end machine, great performance. Comments below, guys. Thank you for your time watching this video. As always, give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a great day.